Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33 teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everybody. It is February 24th. I am in New Zealand, and remember when I said you just have to accept me for how I show up. I'm not feeling the best, so I am literally still in my pajamas, but this is just how human life is sometimes, and I just hope you can just appreciate that I'm showing up here for all of us, because I learn from the lessons also as I share them with you. So remember, if you are listening to this on the Beacon app, on Spotify, on YouTube, don't forget to do all the things, the liking, the tagging, the subscribing. It really helps me to be able to grow this platform for you. And I just am grateful that you all just know that you're just going to get me every time I show up here, or even in your sessions, you just get me. Okay, so let's have a look at the week that is gone. It's been a very interesting week for me, both personally and professionally. And as you hear messages, you're still receiving a transmission. Take notes, because as you listen during the week, there will be new epiphanies, there will be new downloads, as there has been for me also. And the state of my physical body at the moment is a build up of all the things that have been going on energetically over the week and also mentally. Okay, so last week our Monday mantra was, phases of peace will unfold, phases of light say yes to shine bright. Phases of peace will unfold, phases of light say yes to shine bright. Now remember, I always tell you that the opposite of the Monday mantras are true too. And so I always focus on the positive, on the light thing, because we know in everyday life that things happen. We get upset, we get unwell, people pass away, and life is not perfect, but in the heavens it is. And so therefore I bring the heavens message down to earth for us to apply to our imperfect life. And I have to tell you, peace was very, very hard to obtain last week. I share these with you so you can think about the sequence of events that went on for you. I was feeling very emotional for the first part of the week till about Wednesday night, and then Wednesday night the energy shifted. And so with the week that we've had, if you look at all the events that have happened, there has been higher learning. And I have to tell you, there's been higher learning for me in my life as well, whether that be through your own experiences or by considering further studies that activate and enhance your spiritual gifts. So, for example, people who would have seen me last week would have learned something higher from the spirit guides, as well as what naturally comes through me. And remember, spiritual gifts aren't solely limited to those who work in the healing arts. Everything you do in your career can be viewed as a spiritual gift. The wisdom is carried over from previous lifetimes. And so it was really fascinating for me as I was working, because all the activations that were taking place were people to step into their gifts, to be initiated into their gifts. And I have to tell you, the message I'm getting now, when we step into our healing abilities, regardless of how that looks, right, whether you're a hands-on healer or whether you are doing whatever you do, there are major initiations. I'm really glad to see the thumbs up coming up, because I didn't put my thumb up, and it's just confirmation that to be able to work on the scale that people want to work on, or perceive healers who are working on a big scale, each and every one of us have been through our own traumas and struggles and having to persevere. It's not an easy path. And if you are experiencing difficulty, look at it as an initiation, which is sometimes really hard to do when you're in the thick of it, but that is how I'm looking at the things going on for me. And it's not like you're not going to get what you want. Remember, I said something last week about some people are at that place like, is this it? Like, I've got here now, is this it? There are others who haven't caught up quite yet, and that's when you are needing to make that breakthrough into that space of freedom, which is why Spirit mentioned nature spirits. Nature spirits are encouraging us to embrace a carefree spirit and to speak our truth from the depths of our heart. Okay, my mind was going over time last week, and When I was working, obviously my mind is clear when I work because the spirit comes through. But Gaia, mind was working overtime. And it was really interesting when I was recording some personalized meditations last week. The sound of the cicadas were really, really loud. And I was thinking, this is a really special time of the year because the cicadas are giving us their song. The female cicadas chirping or clicking, and the males are holding them. And so it's what basically that means is that there is a depth that's holding us to be able to rise. But in that rising process, like anybody who's building anything up, it can be difficult, it can be challenging. And so, what are nature spirits saying to you? Nature spirits were coming through in sessions as well. The song of the wind, all kinds of things were coming through. And I also had the peacock, which I'll talk about in a minute, that came through. A whole day was just peacock energy. So embrace the freedom by having a carefree spirit to speak your truth from the depths of your heart. Sometimes things bring us to our knees to be able to express what's really in there, which is fear, okay? I feel fear for certain things also because like I'm a human being, and that fear sometimes needs things to happen to actually break free from that fear. So if you're having something that's really challenging or traumatic, it's because there's a fear that wants to be cleared for you to be free from, and nature is telling you how to address that. Nature might be showing you, like it's showing me through my body, or showing you through your body, that this is what you need right now, is deep rest, deep reset. Cultivate a calm mind and inner peace. It was very difficult, but that from Wednesday when the energy shifted, it was a little bit easier. But it still, I know that going into the heart from the mind is a very challenging thing, and this is why we all have our self-care practices, our meditation, homework, and all of that to be able to come back to that place of trusting. I have to remember that too. This guidance can help you navigate past triggers stemming from old betrayals that may cause your mind to race. Old betrayals is not just about, people cheating or people letting you down. Old betrayals are also like when you feel like you ask the universe over and over and over again for what you want, and then you don't get it yet, or something happens. And I also know that feeling, but that is the initiation aspect of our life where we are needing to clear the fear that is stopping us, that obstacle that's stopping us from getting what it is that we're wanting. Embrace the transition towards prosperity that lies ahead, and that's the phase that we are moving into. And remember, all Monday mantras transfer from one to another, so everything is relatable from the previous weeks. And this one will continue on for whenever it needs to continue on. Not everything needs to make sense right now. It's the same with my work. Spirit will share things that do not need to make sense right now. Processing time could be years, so just allow it to be as it is. You are being entrusted with a key to newfound responsibilities. Are you ready for that responsibility yet? Have you released the fear enough? Have I released the fear enough? Have we been initiated far enough in the program to be able to move into that? And it's a responsibility that we can feel proud to carry as part of the service that we are offering. Service in whatever way, not even just to people, but the service and our contribution to the world, and not see it as a burden. Seek and you shall find. You hold the power of freedom within you. Continue to move forward. This is not the time to give up. There we go. We all need that message and reminder. It is not a time to give up. Trust that you will find your way. Water is guiding you in a direction. It's that watery energy. I saw water coming in with lots of people, with clients last week. And trust the flow as you navigate the next steps, knowing that the journey may include both rapid currents and gentle drifts. And your action last week was to identify the light in your life, even though it may have been really hard to find. Like I was struggling, honestly, to find things to be grateful for. And then I had to stop and go, actually, there is so much. What are they? And letting that light amplify. So identify the light in your life, why it matters. Make a list of the people, experiences, or things that bright light and positivity, that bring light, into positivity into your life. What makes these elements special to you? As we move through the week, I shared about my experience at the Lotus Temple, and it was a Baha'i temple, and it was a beautiful experience there where the lotus, it was a really interesting experience at the temple because, being from a Hindu family, I'm used to very elaborate temples, like there's goddesses and animals and all kinds of things. But this Lotus Temple, there was just such a beautiful simplicity, and I was thinking it's so interesting that I felt like sharing that at the time and the vibration of that energy, because the Lotus Temple had nothing in it. It just had seats. It had nothing in it. There was no deities. There's no nothing. But when I went in there, everyone was told to zip it. Like there was a crying child. The mother had to leave with the child because everything amplifies in there. And then there was a bird squawking outside. And this bird thing is tying into something I'm going to say to you shortly. There was a bird squawking outside, and it amplified throughout the whole temple. So I was thinking, this is showing me, nature is showing me that my thoughts are being amplified in here. So therefore, I need to be very mindful of what my thoughts are, which is what has been coming up this week. And I think for all of us in our own ways, overthinking, overwhelm, paranoia, something wrong, all of those things. And so with the Lotus Temple, the key message was the time has come to rest, particularly the mind, which then eases the body, which is what I've been doing, because it got to a place of overwhelm for my body, and return to a place of peace as we transition into this new phase. Like a lotus, something is blossoming from the murky waters, and there is something blossoming. We all just have to keep believing together. And as we move through, the soul progression card that I picked was the retreat card, and I wasn't surprised because the imagery is of the woman holding her heart chakra in the center of her chest. There are experiences in life that can bring us to our knees. Many have faced such moments, and some souls grapple with reoccurring traumas, tragedies, and pain, making peace a difficult pursuit. Perhaps rather than bringing us to our knees, these experiences are meant to guide us back to our hearts. We are being invited this week to find peace through acceptance, forgiveness, and trust, as well as through the act of retreat, rest, and allowing the light to enter. Have faith. We all have to just have faith. The mind has likely been very active, but envision the light drawing that energy from your head into your heart, and within that space lies the truth. Like I always say when I'm stressed out or worried about something, and it's like certain topics for all of us, right? We all have our topics that stress us out or worry us or make us anxious. It's the stress and fear is never in my body, it's in my brain, right? And that's the way we need to look at it. We need to bring the brain energy down to the heart, because the heart will show us the truth. The heart is gentle enough to give us the truths with compassion, and powerful enough to keep the body going, because obviously you think about the job that the heart has to pump blood around the whole body. And then I shared the experience I had. I unfortunately couldn't go into this temple because it was closed. It's only open once a year, but it was the Ekalingeswar Mahadev temple in Jaipur. And because when we parked in the car park, I looked up and I said to my guide, "What is that?" I said, "What's that for?" And he said, "Well, that's the Shiva temple." And I was like, "Wow." And then there were two peacocks just standing there, like guarding the fortress. And I wanted to share that because the peacock energy kept coming through in sessions last week. In some way, it was like peacock energy. And what I want to tell you also is that in my meditation on Saturday night, Zipporah came to me. Now, I was thinking, I do know who Zipporah is, but I was thinking, why is Zipporah coming to me? And so when I looked up Zipporah was the wife, one of the wives, first wife of Moses. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. I know she was a wife of Moses, like one that's the most well-known, I believe. And her name means bird. And I was thinking, this is really interesting that Zipporah came to me. And I'd just written about the peacock energy, and peacock is about luck and flourishing and beauty, and it's like, being able to step into our greatness. But when Zipporah came, it was this feeling of God or the universe has plans for us that we just have to accept. It was that feeling. And so I'm sharing that energy with you because I was like, this is so interesting that Zipporah's here. I don't even know much about her, but I could feel her. And it was the acceptance of the initiation. So obviously Moses had his path and all his messages from God. And so Zipporah supported that. And so there's that energy coming through as well for all of us. And the extended meaning of the Monday mantra: phases of growth require endurance to break through to peace. The light shines through when we no longer allow anything to hold us back, including old traumas, self-sabotaging thoughts, or the opinion of others. Everything's so much easier said than done, right? So we need to do our best to have our tools in place to bring it back to the place of being in the light, being in that phase, being in that space of peace. We had the 222 portal, and that's the mark of a new beginning. And even though the new beginning may have felt like an end, remember that's how new beginnings come, out through the murky water. This week has brought challenges on our path. Could be mental ones, could be anything, whatever, physical ones. But it is to bring us back to peace, making it feel elusive at times. Like we just can't even get that peace sometimes because it's like, how can we? And that's the sabotage that comes in. However, through endurance and intentional emotional processing, we did a lot of writing and burning last week and a lot of speaking the truth when I needed to. We gradually uncover a deeper sense of tranquility. Embracing the journey, no matter how difficult, can ultimately guide us to more profound and lasting peace within ourselves. So, peace, coming back to a place of peace, most of us or a lot of us will be experiencing the opposite, which is difficulty in finding that. But therefore, we need to really work on that and work on that together. Remember, I'm here for you, but I'm only one person. I'm doing my very best to be able to help everyone. My job is one of those jobs where I can only see a few people at a time, and I need to recover. Otherwise, things like this happen. But there are other ways: personalized meditations, mini readings, and going on a wait list until the time is right. And the email address is soul33@gmail.com. Please email Karen with the appropriate subject title so she knows how to respond to you. And obviously the app with so many resources, homework, all of that on there to help you heal, progress your soul, and find your peace. Okay, this week's Monday mantra: a decision I make now will unveil a part of the puzzle. A decision I make now will unveil a part of the puzzle. Maybe the decision this week is to let go of what we truly desire. And that doesn't mean that we are not wanting it. It's just taking the focus off it so there's no pressure, and attuning our third eye to show us the way. Because it's highly activated at the moment. Like I'm feeling mine a lot, and because there's this connection to nature spirits and a connection to deceased loved ones coming in and giving us messages, or even animal spirits coming through, like the bird, or maybe you have a pet that you loved so much that you can feel around you. It's attuning us to see the bigger picture by looking through our third eye. And that's also the eyes and the heart, also to be able to look at yourself going, okay, what is the bigger picture in this whole thing? Because life is a continuous cyclic journey. By opening all our eyes, our seeing eyes and our third eye, it's going to help us gain deeper perspective and make empowered decisions. So what is going to give you that empowerment this week? There's a sense of mystery in life, and this week there will be this mystery, like, why did that happen? Like often I will ask that, what's that for? Why did that happen? And that's because there's a resolution coming. Like you're going to get a piece of the puzzle, but remembering we don't need to know everything all at once. And this is why processing after sessions or processing after we receive information takes time. On a practical level, prioritize and manage your time effectively, adapting to changing circumstances. Be bold and confident in who you are, embracing your strengths and abilities. So what are your strengths? What are your abilities? What can you focus on that is your strength and ability so that you can keep the confidence level high? Your inner masculine energy is encouraging you to share your power by setting clear, believable goals and remembering that you are worthy. I think we all forget our worthiness sometimes, and that we are capable of achieving what we want, but in that process of letting go, a decision that's going to empower you, but that space will give you a piece of the puzzle. You are reminded that it's not necessary to have all the answers or perfect everything to move on. Nothing is perfect. Instead, be kind and supportive of yourself, knowing that when to say yes or no to both yourself and others. So I'm going to say that again. Be kind and supportive of yourself, knowing when to say yes or no to both yourself and others. This is boundaries, okay? The new moon this week I think it's Saturday this week, sensitivity, intuition, so third eye, strong connection to our surroundings, what is home, what makes us feel good, who makes us feel good. While you may be prone to insecurity and being passive, engaging in creativity, your spiritual pursuits can help you tap into the imagination, because imagination is what, if we are imagining and visualizing horrific, horrible things, we don't want to manifest that, and allow ourselves to find our new footing this week from any instability. This new moon presents an opportunity to tap into our inner power, embracing our current reality and harnessing our potential to create a life that we desire from that space of letting go in some way. Take the reins and lead yourself towards your dream, but trusting in your abilities and your intuition to guide you along the way. We don't need to know everything all at once, even though I wish we did. Trust in yourself and let the information you receive ignite your passion and fuel your purpose. Remember, faith is the spark that ignites your passions and inspires you to take action. So, if you are not driving, let's all take a moment together. I need this moment this week also. Okay, we're going to integrate what we've talked about, and may any sadness or feelings of grief or paranoia or sabotage or pain or loneliness, fear, it'll all be mutated by the nature spirits now, knowing that it's all an initiation for you to reconnect with what spirit is actually showing you, and to be liberated just to be yourself, to be authentic in who you are, to be able to have clarity and wisdom, that higher learning is coming. We can feel it coming through our third eyes now. And also, it's really just showing us what we do and what we don't want. And so that is, what are we saying yes to? What are we saying no to? And I just feel like your action this week is, what decision are you going to make for yourself that is going to empower you? And that can be a small decision, it can be a big decision. I am always here for you, but as you can see, I am a human just like everybody else, and that there will be a time when it's right to see me, and there are other ways to connect, and this is why I have the app, so you can always empower yourself on your spiritual journey with all the years of meditations that I've recorded on there. It's only $60 a year. There's an external link for it. Karen is the person to email if you need any help at soul33@gmail.com. Your Monday mantra is, a decision I make now will unveil a part of the puzzle. Let us know in the comments, in the group chat with my disheveled hair today, how you're going to empower yourself.